Good morning, students. I hope you all are doing well. This is once again your economics teacher Lakshmi Vyas, and today I am going to start a new chapter which is Theory of Consumer Behavior. After understanding the chapter demand, supply, now we are going to start consumer behavior. First of all, you must know what is consumer. In generally, we use consumer and customer in similar way. But in economics, consumer and customer are not the same. Customer means the person who is buying goods or services. But customer may or may not use that commodity. On the other hand, a consumer is the one who finally consumes, that means uses the commodity, be it good or a service. So that is the difference between consumer and customer. For example, for a wholesaler, a retailer is a customer because retailer purchases from the wholesaler. But that retailer is not a consumer because he again sells the commodity to a customer, to a person who will finally consume it. That means the third person who is actually consuming it using the commodity is consumer. So that is the difference between consumer and customer. So let's start today's chapter. This is the first part of this chapter. We'll complete this in two parts. In this first part, let us see what is our area of discussion. First of all, we'll try to understand what do we mean by consumer behavior. Then, in order to understand consumers' behavior, we need to know the term utility. We'll explain that. Under utility, total and marginal, two types of utility we will explain. And then we will move to relationship between total and marginal utility. After getting knowledge about these basic terms, we will move to consumers' equilibrium. And in order to understand the consumers' equilibrium through this cardinal or ordinal approach, for cardinal approach we will need two laws. The first one, law of diminishing marginal utility, which will be used to understand one commodity model, and the second law, law of equimarginal utility, that will be used to understand two or more than two commodity model. So this is the area of discussion. Let's move to first point. Now, first of all, consumer behavior. Consumer behavior means the study of how consumer buy goods and services to satisfy their wants. So basically, consumer behavior is a study of the consumer's way of maximizing the satisfaction with the given income in the market. There are many theories given to understand this consumer's behavior, but with respect to time, the two more important theory which we are going to explain in this chapter are the first one, cardinal utility analysis, which was given by Marshall, and it is also known as marginal utility analysis. Under this cardinal utility analysis, it is said that utility can be measured in terms of a unit, and that unit is utils, UTILS. On the other hand, the second one is ordinal utility analysis, which is also known as commonly indifference curve analysis. Under this, Allen and Hicks, they said that utility is not measurable. That means only preference ranking can be done. These two approaches, these two analyses, we will explain in detail one after another. In this part of the chapter, we will go through cardinal utility analysis, that means marginal utility analysis. In the second part, we will explain ordinal utility analysis. So let's start with the cardinal one. Before understanding cardinal or ordinal, we should know what actually utility is. So let's start with utility. Now, the term utility means want satisfying power of a commodity. Yes, the ability or the capacity of a commodity to satisfy the human want is called its utility. That means it is that common property, that quality of all the commodity which satisfies the human want and which is the reason behind purchasing a commodity. For example, food is having power to satisfy our hunger. For example, books fulfill our desire for knowledge. For example, television satisfies our desire for entertainment, so on and so forth. So, utility means the amount of satisfaction which a consumer derives from a commodity after consuming it. After understanding utility, we must understand some characteristics, some features of utility. The very first characteristics of utility is subjective. Subjective, it depends upon individual's own subjective estimate how they get satisfaction from consumption of a commodity. Secondly, utility is not measurable. Under cardinal approach, it is said that utility can be measured, but in general, the characteristic of utility is it is not measurable. In some economists like Marshall, they said utility can be measured in terms of util, but it is a characteristic that it is not measurable because we cannot calculate, we cannot estimate the satisfaction that one person is getting from consumption of a commodity. So generally it is said that utility is not measurable, but it has some exceptions as well. The third one is utility is relative in nature. Yes, relative because it is subjective, that means it varies from person to person. Very simply, since the desire for having a commodity is different in different people, similarly the satisfaction that people are getting from the same commodity is different. So utility is different. For example, having a class 12 economics book will have more satisfaction for class 12 student than class 11 students because they need it more. That means utility varies from person to person. The last one which is written here is utility is different from usefulness. Yes. Utility does not imply that it is good or it is useful. For example, smoking have many harmful effects, but even then it has satisfaction, it has utility for some people like the one who is a smoker. So any commodity which is giving you satisfaction does not mean that it is useful as well. So usefulness and utility are two different terms. We cannot interchange them. We cannot use them for the same meaning. After that, the next one is total utility and marginal utility. The term total utility is very simple to understand. Total utility means total satisfaction. For example, if you consume 10 units of a commodity, then the total satisfaction which you are getting from all those 10 units is the total utility of that commodity. We can calculate total utility by adding the additional satisfaction of each unit. For example, adding the marginal utilities, you will get the total utility. What is marginal utility? Marginal means additional. That means if you consume one more unit, then what is the addition to the satisfaction? That is marginal utility. For example, if you consume 10 units and your total satisfaction is suppose 5. When you consume 11 units and your total satisfaction becomes 7, then marginal utility of the 11th one is 7 minus 5. The formula is written over here. Mu of marginal utility of nth unit, small n is written as a suffix, equal to total utility of n units minus total utility of n minus 1 units. That means just the previous one. If you subtract two consecutive total utilities, you will get the marginal utility. You will understand this. I'll explain this with the help of a table in the next slide. So total and marginal are the two types of utility which you need to understand, two concepts of utility which you need to understand. You will understand it in an easier way in the next one. See here. Yes, which is showing you a relationship between total and marginal utility. Now what is the relation? See, a table is given here which is called utility schedule for mangoes. If a consumer is consuming 0 unit of mango, satisfaction is 0. so we cannot say anything added, so marginal is also 0. As the consumer is consuming 1 unit, the satisfaction is 10 units. Utils. When the consumer consumes 2 units, the satisfaction is 17 utils. Consumer consumes 3 units of mango, the satisfaction, total satisfaction becomes 21. So, as the consumption of mangoes increases from 0 to 1 to 4 to 5, the consumption is increasing, but at 4 and 5 it becomes constant, and after that when he consumes the sixth one, the total satisfaction not increasing, rather it is decreasing, because after reaching a saturation point we don't want to consume more of the commodity. And this is the reason behind an inverted U shape of TU curve, which is right next to it. See, the consumption of total utility increases with increase in consumption up to a certain point, which is 4 to 5. There it becomes constant, and at 6 units it again decreases. Now let's see how marginal is being calculated. See here, in 1 unit the marginal is 10. For 2 units of mango, the marginal utility is 17 minus 10. That means total utility of 2 minus total utility of 1. That is 7 units. Similarly, the total satisfaction of 3 units is 21 and 2 units is 17. 21 minus 17, which is 4, is the marginal utility of third unit of mango. That means the marginal utility is continuously decreasing from 10 to 7 to 1 to 0, and then it becomes negative as well. So, mu decreases, becomes 0 and then negative. This graph and this table itself gives you a relationship. What is that? The first point is when mu is positive. Positive means till the graph is above horizontal axis. That means till unit 4 of mangoes. Till 4 units of mango, what we are seeing? TU is increasing. See the diagram? When mu is negative, that means after 5 units, that means near 6. When mu is negative, then TU is decreasing. See the graph? And the third one, when mu is 0, that means at 5 units of mango, when marginal utility is 0, that point TU is constant. So the graph, the table and the 3 points are interrelated, and you can understand all the 3 together. So here we can say that when mu is positive, TU increases. When mu is negative, TU decreases. When mu is 0, TU remains constant. This is the relationship between total utility and marginal utility. Let's move to the next point, which is the main question. What is consumer's equilibrium? Consumer. When will the consumer be in equilibrium? I hope you all know the term equilibrium. Well, we have used it so many times. Still, I'm repeating it. Equilibrium is that situation where demand and supply was equal, right? So, consumer's equilibrium means that situation when the consumer purchases goods and services in order to maximize the total utility with given income. Yes, income of the consumer cannot change. Prices of the commodities are not in control of the consumer. Only thing which he can change is different combinations of goods and services from the market so that his satisfaction level, his total utility is maximum. And that is called consumer's equilibrium. We can understand consumer's equilibrium through cardinal approach or ordinal approach, both. Here we are going to explain the cardinal approach first, and in the next part we will explain the ordinal approach. So before understanding the cardinal approach, we need to understand first law, that is law of diminishing marginal utility. The table which is given over here, we have already explained this table, which is showing that as we consume more and more units of mango, the additional satisfaction, that is the marginal utility, is decreasing throughout for each. This is called law of diminishing marginal utility. That means marginal utility is decreasing with increase in consumption. So the law states that as the amount of consumed of any commodity increases and other things are being equal, the utility, the satisfaction derived from each additional unit, which is also called marginal utility, keeps on decreasing. This is the statement of law of DMU. This law is based upon some assumptions. What are they? First of all the units of the commodity must be identical. That means when we are consuming mangoes, the size of mangoes must be same, and all the mangoes should be of same quality. If there will be variety, then the additional satisfaction may not decrease, may it increase. Suppose, for example, the first mango which you are consuming is of a bad quality and the second is of a better one, then your satisfaction will not decrease, rather it can increase. So the first assumption is all the units are identical. The second is a standard unit, that means the size is same. The third one says that there must be continuity in the consumption. We must consume one after another and then another. We should not take a time gap between them. If we will take a time gap, then the satisfaction may not fall. It can increase because after some time we may increase the consumption, we may increase the satisfaction. And during the consumption time, there should be no change in the taste and preference. That is assumed to be constant. Other commodities, other related goods, their price should be same. Consumer is rational and the marginal utility of money is assumed to be constant. These are some assumptions. Based on these assumptions, we have this law. So, this law will help us to understand the consumer's equilibrium using cardinal approach for one commodity case. Let's see that. Cardinal utility approach for one commodity. To understand that, we should know that a consumer will be in equilibrium when he spends his income on the purchase of goods and services so that he can maximize his utility. And for that, there are some assumptions, three basic assumptions given here. The first one is a rational consumer. The second one, utility is measurable in absolute terms. The third one is income of the consumer is constant, and more importantly, the law of DMU holds. That is also there. Now, let's explain how a consumer reaches the equilibrium. See here, a utility maximizing consumer. When will be he in equilibrium? How much quantity of a commodity will he consume? See, a downward sloping MU curve is given here. As we say, we have already assumed that marginal utility is diminishing, that means decreasing. So in this diagram also we can see that MU is downward sloping curve because of the law of DMU. The price level is fixed, so it is shown by a horizontal straight line P at 600 units, rupees 600. So it is a horizontal straight line. So the point of intersection of these two curves will show the equilibrium point E. The price and marginal utility curve, these two curves are intersecting at point E, and that E is showing the equilibrium. And equilibrium quantity will be 3 units as shown in this figure. You may use letters, you may use symbols instead of using these numbers. You don't need, it is not compulsory to give numbers over here. You can use P and Q as well to explain this. Now, why point E is equilibrium? Because at this price, at this point E, price and marginal utility are equal. Now we can understand it very simply. Suppose if the price level is 600 and consumer will purchase 4 units, 4 number of shirts as in this figure. Then at 4 units, 4 number of shirts, the price which he is paying is 600, and the satisfaction, the additional satisfaction which is getting is below that 500. That means the satisfaction is low and the price which he is paying is more. So if you are getting something low and paying more, automatically you will reduce the consumption. So from 4 it will move toward the left and stop at 3. On the other hand, if the consumption is of 2 units, then the price paid is 600 and satisfaction is 650 because MU curve is above P line. So marginal utility is more than price at any point before equilibrium. So more satisfaction with less payment will induce the consumer to consume more. So consumption will increase toward the right hand side. So automatically the consumer will get its equilibrium at point where price is equal to marginal utility. In this way you can explain this law. So this is it for cardinal approach of one commodity. Price equal to marginal utility, Px equal to Mux is the condition for consumer's equilibrium under one commodity model of cardinal approach. So mark that as important. After that, let's see for more than more than one commodity, 2 or more than 2. For that, we need to understand law of equimarginal utility. What does it mean? Law of equimarginal utility states that a utility satisfying consumer must allocate his income among various commodities in such a way that gives him the last unit of money spent on each commodity gives him the same marginal utility. That means, suppose X and Y are the two commodities which the consumer is consuming. In such case, MUX upon PX, MUY upon PY should be equal. And if there are more commodities, suppose MUX by PX equal to MUY by PY equal to MUZ by PZ equal to MUW by PW equal to equal to MU of money. That means per unit of money. This is law of equimarginal utility. This law is useful to understand the consumer's equilibrium for cardinal approach in two commodity or more than two commodity concept. So let's discuss this concept. In order to understand the two or more commodity maximization approach, let us assume something. For example, suppose a consumer spends his or her income on purchase of only two commodities, that is X and Y. For simplicity, let's assume that the consumer want to spend rupees 40 on the purchase of X and Y two commodities, and the price of X is rupees 5 per unit, price of Y is rupees 10 per unit. Now there is a table given over here. In the first table, which shows the utility schedule, we can see that units MUX, MUY, these three things are given. So we will calculate the MUX by PX and MUY by PY values, because we have seen that law of equimarginal utility uses these ratios should be equal. So from the table we can see that MUX upon PX and MUY upon PY are equal at many points, like 3 units of X and 1 unit of Y, or 4 units of X and 2 units of Y, 5 units of X, 3 units of Y, 6 units of X and 4 units of Y. All those points are giving us MUX upon PX equal to MUY upon PY. Now, in order to purchase these different combination of X and Y, the consumer will have different expenditures. We can see these expenditures on these combination in the second table, which shows when the consumer spends rupees 40 for 3 units of X and 1 unit of Y, the total expenditure is 25, which is below 40. For consumption of 2 units of X and 4 units of X and 2 units of Y, the consumption is 40. For 5 units of X, 3 units of Y, it is 55. 6 units of X and 4 units of Y, rupees 70 is the expenditure. That means the total expenditure is not matching for all the points with 40. Only rupees 40 can be spent when the consumer purchases the second combination. That means he can spend rupees 40 when he consumes 4 units of X and 2 units of Y. That means no other combination of X and Y is giving as much utility when the income is 40 rupees. So the utility maximization level of combination of X and Y is 4 units of X and 2 units of Y with these given price and the income. So when a consumer is having a fixed income and fixed price levels in the market, this law of equimarginal utility, which is MUX upon PX equal to MUY upon PY, and the total expenditure of the income is spent, this helps us to understand the consumer equilibrium for two commodities. We can do it for more than two commodities as well in the same way, but for the time being, for the simplicity, we will explain this with the help of two commodities only. So this is it for today. Law of equimarginal utility have some limitations as well, because it is difficult for the customers to know the MU from different commodities, because utility cannot be measured. And consumers in many cases governed by habits and customs, so their decisions regarding the purchase of different commodities depends upon many other things, not only like this relation. So many consumers are ignorant as well, so they may not be able to arrive at the equilibrium position because of this ignorance. So there are many other limitations for this law, but this is the theoretical portion of two commodity model. Today we will not move to the next part. The second part of this chapter for a long question 6 marks we will do in the part 2. For that time being, prepare two long questions from here. Explanation of law or this law of equimarginal utility, that means two commodity model, one commodity model, and some short questions like utility, relation between TU and MU, statements of law of equimarginal utility, law of DMU, their diagrams, so on and so forth. Take care, stay healthy, stay safe, prepare your work and answer the quiz which is given over here.